Hello there, I'm Scontulus, and this is Teppen Deck Tech, where I present to you decks that are fun, strong, or interesting. Today we are playing X Heart Tank, which after its recent buff and the release of the new set is more powerful than it has ever been before. Here is my proof. The highest rank I am likely to ever get. This is just after day 1, so not everyone played, and the meta is still fresh. But at the moment, until people counter it, Heart Tank is a titan. The name of the game is to put constant pressure on our opponent with Storm Owl, who pings for 4 damage when a friendly unit is healed by 5 or more, and of equal importance, they are a flight unit with combo. Storm Owl is the core of our deck, but we are actually able to get far more out of them when we open Nibble Snarf instead. Snarf plays our owls from deck, which effectively gives us 6 copies of Storm Owl. 3 are just stronger and come coordinated, while also setting up a few slightly different combo lines. That's right, for the first time in a Teppen deck profile, we're gonna talk about some combo lines. The most common line is to simply ascend over our Snarf with the brand new Chun-Li to clear Snarf's bad effect, and then Chun herself is the initial best card of the new format. She's just a stronger version of her legendary, and if you've been playing in the new format, I don't need to tell you how busted she is. Backed up by a 3/6 Storm Owl, she is a menace. This is massive turn 1 pressure and only gets better. If we can follow this up with Feline, we will immediately proc Storm Owl to clear any defense our opponent has mounted, while buffing our combo units even further. Feline, you do need to be somewhat careful when playing, but the punish for playing him is rarely the second you play the card, and we have enough self-seals and ragtag thieves that we should have insurance. But even without those, the risk is usually worth it if you have Chun and the Owl. Alternative combo lines would include summoning Hina Giku before ascending over Snarf, which is somehow even more pressure, and double Owl opens if we can open Snarf, Owl, and a heal action are just about the strongest thing our deck can produce. But it is not as common to draw the full 3-card combo. Just having a heal action in hand like Flagship gives us the option to hold our Feline for a later play and play a stronger unit on field, such as Parker or Hina, while still having our Owl ping active. Whenever you mulligan, you should basically be looking for one of these starters, Snarf, Owl, Parker, or even Chun, and at least one extender, Feline, a heal action, Hina, or also Chun. For example, if you open no Snarf, playing Chun without ascending her, followed by Feline and Hina is just as strong as our Snarf Chun open is. Storm Owl Feline is also an option turn 1 as long as your opponent plays a unit for you to ping with Owl, and Parker Luciani is our last extremely solid opening unit with Feline, or at any time in the game. Parker immediately becomes a 5/10 if buffed by Feline, and can continue to proc his effect, which can actually let us buff Chun or Storm Owl as well. Parker is a very important card to tie the deck together. And everything I said about Parker also applies to Veteran Rescuer Barry. This card is a game ender if you drop it while ahead, and is just as good to open with Feline. There's a couple of other combo lines with Barry, such as Barry, Chun, and then Feline, but you guys can probably figure those out based on what I've told you already. If this guy ends up on the same board as Parker or Storm Owl, there is very little way for our opponent to turn it around. This is the only legendary that is completely required. Speaking of, you will notice I am not playing the new legendaries. I do have them. I did test Karen and Kanzuki Revolution, but neither really fit for me. Kanzuki especially seems great in theory, but is a little expensive and inconsistent to justify the slot, at least later in the game. You definitely can run it to make your turn 1 Owl Snarf play stronger, ping for 8 just off of summoning Snarf, but after that it feels a bit expensive. The deck already runs an insane amount of epic cards anyway, so you can take or leave this one legendary. The remaining cards we play are our Feline Insurance, 3 Surge of Malice, which seals 1 unit and the unit in front of it, It's 4 Feline, but you can use this card with no downside on Snarf or Hina when you actually need the seal function. We also run 1 Ragtag Thieves, another way to protect Feline while healing our field and recycling him. Very underrated card. The more games I play it in, the more I like this card. And Homeland Aflame is our last Feline saver, and is probably the most cuttable card. It's really good on a buffed up Luciani and as a heal with our Snarf openings, but the 1 MP difference between it and Ragtag make it slightly worse with Feline. I would probably replace it with another Ragtag or Disarm. Evasive action is for the Faith matchup. Our very last cards are Analysis Program to give us more options and consistency, and finally, Stay Close to protect any cards that need to be protected. Here's the deck QR for you, and with all that said, let's get into it. Game 1, we are up against Changeform Nergigante, one of the titans of last format. If we're going to stand any chance in the new meta, we're going to want to have a good Changeform matchup. Faith got a lot of new tools in the last set that will allow our opponent to play mono black. We'll start things off with Satsuki, and we will use our Chun Feline Hina open. Our opponent will use Gathering Effluvium to deal with Chun, and will use Analysis Program to add a Storm Owl. Hina will defeat their Satsuki, and they will play a Blade with Faith buffed, which will allow them to add a Satsuki back to their EX pocket. They'll play another Satsuki, and we will play Hina to destroy their Satsuki, which allows them to play another Blade that will add another Satsuki to their EX. We'll play our Storm Owl down and use our Hero Art to destroy one of their Blades, and we will play a Feline to destroy the Satsuki that they played, which will buff up the Fang that they played to contest our Storm Owl. We will return our Feline to the EX pocket before it causes any of our units to be destroyed. Our opponent will play another Satsuki and activate Rite of Initiation, which allows us to activate our flagship, pinging them with our Storm Owl. Their Satsuki will be pinged, and it will destroy our sealed Feline in the bottom lane. They have a full board, but we are able to get over for a good bit of damage and play another Feline to finally clear up the last units that they have on field. We will self-seal our Feline and seal their Blade just so our Feline does not destroy our Storm Owl. Our current win condition, we only need 1 more hit in, which our opponent can block 1 more time with Fong. We'll play another Feline to ping the last unit on their field. They will try to destroy their Fong before it is destroyed on attack to save themselves a little bit of life, but we can destroy it with our flagship. They'll destroy their Rocky as well to heal back to 8, but that is not enough, especially when we can Heart Tank to stop anything that they would play, taking Game 1. Game 2, we are taking on the Mirror Match, which gives me the opportunity to prove that my build is stronger. We already have our difference maker, Nibblesnarf, and our opponent will start the game right away with Storm Owl, daring us to play the game. I don't think they know what we're up to. We'll play Nibblesnarf followed by Hina Giku, and our opponent will play Veteran Rescuer Barry, which trades with Hina, but they're already off one of their very best cards. We'll ascend Chun over our Nibblesnarf, destroying their Storm Owl, and they will play another Storm Owl. We've already gotten in enough damage for lethal, and let's try it again. We're giving the Green Mirror another shot. This time we're up against top 10, so we should know for sure whether our deck can really go to the top of ladder. We already have Nibblesnarf as well as Feline and Parker, so we have some options. This is definitely a hand we'll play a little slower. Our opponent starts off with Armorbot, followed by Bunyan and Pekka, which means they're playing the semi-recent meta Green Quest deck. Our Nibblesnarf will be destroyed, and we will play Feline to proc both of our units, destroying their Pekko. Our opponent will ascend Chun over their Armorbot, and we will activate Surge of Malice to seal their Chun as soon as they do. We will get in considerable early damage, and before our Feline is destroyed, we will ascend our own Chun and activate Heart Tank to destroy their sealed Chun. They will play another Chun-Li and use their Shield Spire on her to potentially allow her to contest our Chun, but when we activate Homeland Aflame, our opponent uses all their MP for Kenzuki, leaving them no possible way to block. Game 3, we are up against Dante Quicksilver. And if anybody's gonna stop our rampage, it's gonna be purple. Hopefully we can take him down. We once again open a couple of our best starters, Snarf, Parker, as well as Chun and Hina. We'll keep it simple by starting with Snarfina. Our opponent will play Dulcine followed by Raymond Vester. Dulcine will switch places with Raymond, and they will play Clive R. O'Brien as well as another Raymond Vester. We'll ascend Chun over our Nibblesnarf, and our opponent will use Quicksilver to debuff our Chun. We get greedy and play another Storm Owl instead of healing our live Storm Owl. And from there, our board falls apart when we try to buff the Storm Owl on field. Our opponent can Proposing Deicide, and we have lost all of the early momentum we got. We do Analysis Program to get a Feline, but we don't have a good opportunity to get back in the game from here. We can play Parker and use Heart Tank to try and start some board. Maybe his Spillover can destroy Raymond Vester. But when our opponent buffs Vester even further and uses Quicksilver, the chances of that are slim to none. We can play another Feline to get in and clear a couple of their units, but when our opponent throws down Sorcerologist Tessa, they clean up Game 3. Here we are again, and this deck is so busted. At least as far as the first week is concerned, I think this and Yan Li are the clear deck to beat. Which does mean those decks are going to be targeted and teched against very quickly, but right now this deck feels unstoppable. As far as matchups go, purple is the color that has the most answers to our deck. I've already seen purple players packing 3 Overpower and 3 Demonic to deal with Chun and Owl. And the purple coordination archetype is nothing to scoff at. It's pretty disorienting to play against as well. It's not a bad matchup, but it is our most difficult matchup. Black players also give us a bit of trouble, and will probably get stronger as they tech more against our deck, but at the moment it's pretty even against black. Green, I would say, is an even matchup, but outside of Yan decks, it feels pretty easy to scoop up a win against green. And red players, I almost feel bad when I queue this deck. I don't think they have any chance at all. I would recommend the deck to anybody who is stuck with X through the years, or just anybody who wants a powerful, adaptable strategy. As for the next episode, let me know down below whether you would rather see another green deck with Yan Li, or some mono black with Despair, Whale, and Perish. Please like the video if you liked the video, subscribe if you subscribed. Once again, I'm Scontulus, and I will see you in the next one.